taking a step back and hearing Bill Self say that was a great win over a team that's 2-15 in the conference on a day that they fell out of the top 25. Somebody would have told you that was going to be the scenario that we'd be talking about today. If somebody would have told you that before the season, what would you have said?
I said you're a Jackimowski.
Right. Because they were the preseason number one.
Hello.
Yeah.
They were number one.
Yeah.
They were number one in the season.
They
were number one when they went to Mizzou.
I would say, whoa, who got hurt? And
right.
How many injuries did they suffer?
Yeah, I mean like,
how'd they lose their whole starting five?
If you had said that to me after Thanksgiving, I would have been like, well, they just beat Duke. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you talking about, man? They beat North Carolina. They beat Duke. By the way, North Carolina's pretty terrible,
Beat
too.
Michigan
right?
State.
Beat Michigan State. Like, yeah, nuts. Absolutely nuts.
So they lost Harris and Dickinson, and KJ's out too.
Yeah.
That sucks. I mean, that's if you told me that's to get here. That's what I would have thought would have had to happen. Is a massive amount of injuries to key players, which is not the case, even a little bit.
Well, here's where they are. It would have been, of course, it would have been a lot worse if they lost to Colorado. But they're 10-7 after that win. But they still find themselves in 6th place. They're alone. They are 10-7 ahead of Baylor 8-8 and TCU 8-8, so they got some breathing room there. But they're behind BYU. And BYU beat them head to head. BYU's 10-6. They're behind Iowa State 11-5. They're behind Texas Tech 12-5, but they see Texas Tech next in Lawrence. They're behind Arizona 12-4. They get another crack at Arizona, or they get a crack at Arizona at Allen Fieldhouse to end the season. But then they also play at Houston, and Houston 16-1, and they run this conference.
Yeah.
Good God. 16-1 after another victory last night. Did you watch much of that?
I watched the last 5 minutes or so of it. I was busy doing Uber duty for all of the children in my life and the places they needed to be. So, but when I got home, I was able to watch like the last 5 minutes of the game. Houston is everything Kelvin Sampson teams are and good. I mean, tough, physical.
Another road win at Texas Tech.
At a tough place to play. I know Texas Tech was missing a couple guys, but doesn't matter. I mean, that was just another amazing performance by Houston. Houston, as you said, they came into this league, and I really did think they'll still be good, but they're not going to put up the kind of record that they did when they were in what was it, Conference USA or whatever. I mean, they'll once they have to go through the meat grinder of the Big 12. They'll get humbled a little bit, because you just don't go 16-1 in this league very often. I was wrong. I did not get that right. I don't think I was the only person that thought that. I think most people thought that. But credit to Kelvin Sampson. And you can text people now as a coach
As many times as you'd like.
as much as you want.
All day long.
Kids don't read texts anymore, so it doesn't even matter.
Slide into their DMs.
Yeah, send them a snap.
You can even pay them.
You can pay them.
You can even pay them.
All kinds of stuff.
It's cray. It's cray out there.
So, okay, now we've gone through these 2 games against subpar competition, Oklahoma State and Colorado. And we said before we were unsure what exactly we would find out if Kansas won both games, because neither of these 2 teams are even near the bubble. They're not tournament teams. They're not very good teams. But now that Kansas has won both those games, do you feel like they've figured anything out, or they fixed anything, or turned anything around?
I don't feel super confident, no. Hopefully getting a couple of wins will get them some confidence, get them playing together, and maybe the fact that they did lose their lead in the second half of that game and they still were able to dig down and win will give them some confidence if they face adversity, when they face adversity against Texas Tech. On the birthday of Allen Fieldhouse, by the way, they'll be playing that game. That's kind of a fun little nugget added to the story. The crowd should be good, as Bill Self said, but to me, no, like I think it's pretty much exactly the way you said, which is we're not going to learn too much about this Kansas team based on what they do against Oklahoma State and Colorado. We will learn if they made any progress, really, over the next 3 games. These are tough games. Number 10 in the country, Texas Tech.
I don't even know if you can figure out anything against Houston, because you can get beat by double digits against Houston and just because that's what it is. That's what happens down there.
And maybe if you go down there and you give them a game, you learn something. You know, if you go down there and you're in the game in the last 3 minutes, that might show you something. But yeah, no, like if they go lose bad, that's not going to really tell you too much. I guess if they kind of lay down on the floor like they did at BYU, that'll tell you something. Do they go down and fight? And then that last game, I mean, you could conceive that they go 0-3 in this stretch and they finish conference play 10-10. That's crazy to think, but that's possible. So no, I think this game against Texas Tech is a huge one. Huge. I think that's where we learn the most.
They'll beat Tech.
You think so?
Yep.
I hope you're right.
They'll beat Tech. They're not going to beat Houston. And then I don't know about Arizona. Maybe a toss-up. You go 2-1 in those games, you should be happy.
Oh, I'd be thrilled. If they win the 2 home games and lose at Houston, I think that's a really good finish to what's been a tough season.
That's where I would lean.
But
I think the Arizona, I don't know. Maybe I'll be wrong. I think Arizona's better than Texas Tech, but we'll see.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, right now the polls say Texas Tech's way better, but that doesn't mean anything. I'm interested to see what Vegas thinks of these games.
See, Ken Palm, Texas Tech 7, and Arizona's 12. I mean, so that's comparable.
Very close. Yeah.
Vegas was pretty spot on last night.
6.5, right?
Yep.
And the net rankings, Texas Tech is 7, Arizona's 9.
You think Kansas be an underdog at home in this game? Jake, what do you think the line will be?
It'll be close to a pick 'em. If I had to say, I think Kansas would be a 1-point favorite, 1.5-point favorite.
Kansas is 21 in Ken Palm, by the way. In the net, they're 20.
I was thinking about this, how spoiled we are as Kansas fans.
Yes.
Missouri's 14 in Ken Palm.
In that.
And 15 in net rankings.
Kansas isn't even a
To
bubble
answer your
team,
question.
right? What are they again? Missouri?
14 and 15.
14 and 15, nice. Kansas isn't even considered a bubble team, are they?
No.
What?
Right?
No.
Like I'm just pointing it out.
Clearing out the obvious.
Yeah.
I just told you they're 20 and
And they just dropped out of the top
they're
25
10 and 7 in the conference.
for the first time since 2021.
The last time Kansas didn't make the tournament,
It was 1989.
and
It's the longest running streak.
We're
currently
Let
talking-
me tell you something, though. Not because of that. 89 was a good year for me.
was it?
Was your junior year? in
No,
high school?
we had this conversation the other day because Selena thinks her sophomore year sucks. I shouldn't say it on the air, but whatever. And I said,
You want me to dump
no, yeah, maybe. I said, but honestly, because my sophomore year sucked.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling you it was just a pump her up. I said my favorite year, my best year in high school was my junior year. It was great. I'm telling you that so she look forward to it. Also,
Yeah.
this junior year.
Junior year, I think that's very.
But when someone says 1989, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. So all things really came together for me.
Oh, it's good.
That's when
89 was a good year.
I went from because I was very awkward sophomore year, and then junior year I kind of
Hey,
figure some things out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know,
think
I
that's.
just-
And then by the time you're a senior, you kind of got senioritis, so it's not as great. Like
I
your
hear
junior
89.
years,
I'm
you
like,
kinda hit your
yeah,
stride. Nice.
that was.
Last year.
I
of
got cut from the
decade.
basketball team my sophomore year.
See?
But, started varsity by the end, So, but my point is, I'm looking at the bubble here on Joe Lenardi, who famously wished me, Nick, a happy birthday
Right.
on the show one time. North Carolina's first 4 out. North Carolina is first 4 out. And we sit around and we talk about this is the worst year of the Bill Self era. This is a terrible year.
Era.
This is what a disaster this season is. Blah 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 blah. And the team's not even on the bubble. And that is some perspective that needs to be we as Kansas fans need to be reminded of a little bit. This team's still going to the freaking tournament. And that's
It's almost like me having to listen to Chiefs fans about what an embarrassment and disaster is to lose in the Super Bowl.
right.
We
right,
lost in the Super Bowl.
Right. Right. As they won their
You mean to tell me we don't get to win the Super Bowl every year? I've been a Chiefs fan now for 7 years, and I'm not going to put up with this.
Yeah. Oh, we barely won the
I
division.
Look at people like, you mother jumper.
Yeah.
You know what I'd have given to go to the Super Bowl? Not even win it.
just
go
go.
to it.
We
If the devil would have taken my offers, I'd have one. I'd have one testicle right now. I'd have one ball.
You'd be at one
I
testicle.
really would be a nut. If the devil would have jumped up onto the Earth's surface. Stephen, will you give one of your testicles for a trip to the Super Bowl? Yes. Here you go.
Right. And now your team just wins the division.
Not
every
anymore.
year.
No, not anymore.
Yeah.
By the way, hey down there, not anymore.
By the way, what would you have given just to see your team play in the AFC Championship game at Arrowhead Stadium?
A
That never
lot.
happened.
A lot.
That never happened. Now it happens every year.
Point is, I understand what you're saying. It
Yeah,
resonates.
okay, I'm not saying this is a year that Kansas fans should just be like, oh, this is great.
Good balls.
But, damn, that's pretty impressive. That streak, the streak that Bill Self had of winning the conference title every year was remarkable. But you remember when I was on the show, I would say all the time, you know what people aren't talking about enough is the tournament streak. Because North Carolina's most likely going to miss the tournament. Kentucky misses the tournament sometimes. The biggest blue bloods in all of college basketball miss the tournament sometimes, and it's never even a thought at Kansas. Even in this year, this terrible year, this year where we're sitting around and Jake and I griping about the culture of the team and blah, 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 they're not even listed on the bubble. So I just want to say that. This Saturday will tell us a lot about whether or not they're making some progress.
The latest top 25 had Texas Tech 10, Arizona 22, BYU's 25 now. Very good.
They've been hot, man.
Kansas is if you went deep into others receiving votes, they would have been 28. Other Big 12 schools, Houston is number 4. Man, Houston's better than Florida. Florida's 3rd. This is my personal whatever. Iowa State's 9. Mizzou's 14.
So is the Big 12 the second best league? I mean, obviously the SEC is the best league in the country right now, according to everybody, and nobody's arguing that.
I don't know.
Would it be Big 10 after? I don't know what the Big 10's got.
I don't know.
Let's see. I'm looking here.
I mean, if you look at the rankings, you got SEC at the top, then ACC, SEC, Big 12, SEC, SEC, Big East, Big 10, Big 12, Big 12, Big 10, SEC, ACC, SEC. I don't know. Good question. SEC's number 1 after that. I don't know.
Big Ten's the Big Ten is not very represented in the top 25 here. Wisconsin, Michigan, Maryland. What else? Purdue.
St. John's is hot. St. John's is awesome.
That's cool. That's cool to see.
I got to get some gear because it's St. John's. I have some, but
Yeah.
I want,
Scarecrow got us some.
yeah, I
You
need
know?
more.
He-
I used
he's
to
not
wear
there anymore,
I used to
though,
wear
is he?
that gear just, when I was a kid because it's St. John's.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like if there was like a school that's a popular basketball program that was, Gutierrez
Oh, I'd be all over
University,
it.
you'd be wearing that.
Hey, when the Chiefs, got Matt Gutierrez, I was all
Right.
excited about that. Let alone a whole school named after.
Like the logo, SJ. It could be my logo.
You're the Brown Storm.
Not hyped to wear. Yeah, they used to call me Red Storm. Back at my UMKC days. Coach Hunt used to love that. Red Storm! Red Storm!
I love that. Yeah, our buddy Chris Huey's at Loyola Chicago now. So he can't get us.
With Sister Jean?
I guess so. But he was there. And he's the one that sent us all the St. John's gear back when he was the Dobo there.
So how do you think that Kansas is going to finish? Win 2 out of 3? That ain't bad.
God, I don't know. I would take it. Oh, man, I'd sign up for that right now. I wouldn't give my left testicle for it.
That's
but
not.
I would-
No. You've,
but I would
you've
sign
had all
up for
these
it.
wins.
Yeah, but I would sign up for it. I would
Good
sign
balls.
up. I think that would be a very good, strong finish to the season. And that would give me a little bit of optimism that they can maybe, make a little bit of a run in March. Get to the second weekend. Maybe win a couple games in Kansas City. Have some fun at the Big 12 tournament. So what night are they figuring to play now? I can't even remember the form. The format's like Tuesday, Wednesday,
Wednesday
Thursday.
right now.
So they would likely play Wednesday. So maybe you win a game or two. You'll play Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Have some fun for the KU fans. And
I mean, for you to have the double bye, you got to be in the top 4.
yeah, that's not happening.
You sure?
No,
I mean, you sure said it like it was a done
just
deal.
seems like that would be far fetched.
Highly unlikely.
Yeah. See, without even look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's
They're in
6.
6. I told
There's
you.
6 right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I'm not.
BYU.
But I'm not expecting that. Like
You're-
with
you-
the
you'd have
schedule
to-
they got
well,
coming up.
listen, you'd have to catch Texas Tech or Iowa State. I don't think you'll catch Arizona because they're 3 games ahead. And so BYU doesn't matter because they're 5th anyway. So you got to catch Texas Tech or Iowa State. You play Texas Tech.
You pull within a game of them if you beat them.
Yeah.
Ooh, Texas Tech has the rest.
Iowa State has a tough spot too. Tough schedule. I mean, it's
They finished.
Texas Tech has Colorado and Arizona State left. No, KU ain't catching
You've
them.
been singing the praises of Colorado. Why not? Why can't Colorado pop
What's
up
at
and-
home?
Oh, well.
It's at Texas Tech. I can't count on 17 for my guy Jakimovsky.
What's Iowa State got?
They're playing. They finish.
I know they finished at
Kansas
K-State.
State.
Who knows what that game will bring? K-State won at Iowa State.
Yeah, but this is, who knows?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Who knows?
So
As Dorse famously said.
they play at Oklahoma State tonight, and then they play at home against Arizona, at home against BYU, and then at Kansas.
No, there's
State.
that's possible.
Two
then.
tough games.
I mean,
Maybe 3 if you
3.
count K-State.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah,
That's 3
K-State's
tough
a tough
games.
game.
But that's if like KU wins out.
Yeah.
They got it. That's winning at Houston. I'd love to sit here and tell you that's. I mean, like, do you watch Houston? Think
they can get them.
yeah,
Hey.
it's time.
Kansas had him at home.
Best against
But
best, they get
at
them.
Houston though,
I know.
No.
I mean, I'd roll with you if it was going to be at Allen Fieldhouse, but it's at Houston. Like, I don't know. Like,
You're just gonna lose one game all year.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I thought they might lose last night, but I don't know.
That's wild.
That's what I mean. People are not talking about that enough. Not just winning these first 2 years in the Big 12, but they got a 3-game lead over everybody.
Right.
That's what Kansas used to do. And you're not. No one's supposed to be able to do this anymore.
Right. And they lost their best player from last year.
And who do they have left? home against Cincinnati, home against Kansas, at Baylor. I don't feel like there's a loss there. So, I mean, you're looking at a real possibility of 19-1 in the conference.
That's crazy.
Like, good
Probability.
God. You know?
Well, I like Kelvin Sampson, so, props to him.
No, but like there's, especially like if you're older and you appreciate defense, you appreciate old school basketball, you appreciate Kelvin Sampson more in the way they play. That's just a tough ass team, and you're not like if you're not tough, you're not playing for that team.
Right.
And I like watching Kelvin Sampson teams.
Mentally and physically tough, both.
And let me tell you, Oklahoma coached. I mean, Kelvin Sampson coached, Oklahoma, and those teams that he coached at Oklahoma used to give Missouri hell. And that's one of the most disappointing games I've ever seen live in person is when Oklahoma beat Mizzou in the Elite Eight. And it was just like, and it seemed like every year on Friday night at Kemper in the Big 12 tournament, Missouri would take on Oklahoma, and Missouri would be good, and they'd play a good game, but they just, like, Oklahoma would just wear them down, and they'd just be so tough, and you'd want to hate them, but then, and it made me furious, but you would look and you would admire, like, God, he gets his players to play so hard. They're just, it's one of the, like, you want that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you because you've had a team that other people have wanted to emulate, but like for most people, you look at the way Kelvin Sampson's team plays. Like, I wish my team played like that, and it's back to that. Like everyone's looking at Houston. Like,
I wish this year's Kansas team played like that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Hollis Price being one of their best players at Oklahoma.
Oh, he just gave Missouri hell. I used to hate that.
I don't know if you remember an injury he suffered when he was in college. He had the ligaments torn in his elbow because he caught one of his teammates in the mouth with an elbow, and the guy's teeth got lodged into his
elbow. Yeah,
into his elbow.
I remember that.
Tore his ligaments. He was out for a while. How'd you tear the ligaments in your elbow? Well, I elbowed one of my teammates in the mouth, and his teeth got stuck in.
You used to drive me crazy. You remember Nolan Johnson?
Oh yeah.
Drive my
They would go that
crazy.
1-4 flat.
Yeah.
They would just flatten everybody
Here
out
it
on the
is.
baseline. Him
Here
go.
it is.
Take
Here we
it
go.
one-on-one to the
Stop
basket.
him. Nope. Okay then. All right.
God, he was strong too.
The Mexican
Fouling.
sensation, Eduardo Nájera.
Nájera.
Didn't bother me as much as Nolan Johnson. Nolan Johnson was the one that was a thorn in my side. I just feel like Missouri couldn't do nothing with him.
I just wanted to say Eduardo Nájera.
Yeah, well, Nájera was a stud. No, you think of those players, and you would dislike them, but you respect how hard they played.
Oh yeah, I mean, I got a college nickname after Nájera because that game he got knocked out by Mateen Khalif's. I mean, if they would have paid closer attention to concussions back then, he probably wouldn't have entered the game again. But he came back after getting knocked out cold, goes back to the locker room, then comes back in overtime, and that has an impact.
And to bring it full circle,
Toughness.
That's what I appreciate about this Missouri team. And why I tell people, man, I don't know what they're going to do in the tournament, but appreciate watching them right now.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to tell any Missouri fan because they didn't win a game in the conference last year. But even in that Arkansas game where things just didn't go well, I would say they played a D game, man. They turned the ball over too much. They were missing front ends of one-on-ones and free throws. They were getting worked in the paint. Caleb Grill was 2 of 12 from 3. And they still, if Ward didn't miss a layup with a couple minutes left, that was going to be down to a couple times it would have been down to 4, down to 3. They could have won that game, and they didn't play well across the board. And that's a sign of a really good team when they didn't play well. Mm-hmm. And they were still in it in a hostile environment. But, watching them play against Alabama and all these teams, damn, they play hard. I mean, they're all over the floor. They're such a joy to watch. And because last year was not a joy to watch, it makes it even more special. And I think people should appreciate it. And again, yes, I know. But everyone asks, what do you think they're going to do in the tournament? I said, I don't know. That's based on matchups. That's based, who knows?
Who has a hot night.
But enjoy this right now. Mm-hmm. Because this is one of the most entertaining basketball teams in the nation. And they're back at it tonight at home against South Carolina. a team that they should beat up on, and hopefully they do, because they've gone through a really tough stretch of hard games. That's what the SEC is. So, see if Mizzou gets back in the win column tonight against South Carolina, the Gamecocks. We'll take a break. Back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Well, hopefully tomorrow will be sunny and 66. So, maybe just it'll be a day off for everybody. So we need to regroup. So maybe at least get some vitamin D tomorrow, and then we'll hook up Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and be ready to hopefully play a team that cleaned our clock last year. And obviously they've been the most pleasant surprise of anybody in our league. So we need to be turned up and ready to go.
Turned. Mahomes was at the game last night between Houston and Texas Tech. Man, he got that haircut. I like it. He's looking good.
Think there's any chance he comes to the KU game Saturday?
I told Jake he might. Why wouldn't he? I mean, he's active. He's in the country. We know. You never know. Maybe take a nice vacation, but he deserves it. But he was there last night with Brittany. I like his haircut.
Yeah, I thought he looked good. He almost looked like a little slimmer. I don't know if that was just...
I think it kind of makes him look younger.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
His boyish good looks. He looks like he told me he was a high school, or not high school, but a college quarterback. Yeah.
It's more business-like. Looks more like he's...
I'd like to think like this was like a moment for him, like, all right, I'm done messing around.
Time to take care of business.
Now it's time to go into into the killer phase of my career.
Yeah.
Assassin mode.
You done pissed me off.
It is.
That's what I wanted to. Maybe he just
Yeah.
wanted to get a haircut, but
No, I think that he's not the kind of guy that's going to take a loss like that.
I totally want to read into it too much.
It's crazy that he's not young anymore.
Oh, he's young.
Yeah, he is.
By
Super young.
NFL standards, he's not young.
He's in his prime.
Yeah.
He's really young.
I mean, compared to us,
He's forever young.
forever young.
We don't talk about Mahomes getting old on this show.
I didn't say he's old.
Very young. Wow.
Peak age.
Andy Rogers wrote an
age.
article called Jack's First Jack. I don't know why I like that.
Everybody remembers their first.
Yeah. We talked about old Cags and his 435-foot home run yesterday a lot, Jake, because it would have been the third hardest hit home run in the StatCast era by a Royals player since 2015.
Do you think Steven's getting too excited about it, Jake?
Only to be surpassed by
I can name
Jorge
him.
Soler. Yeah, because you heard it, didn't you? Were
I
you
read
listening?
it. Kendry
and
Morales.
Kendrys Morales.
I guessed one of them. I should have guessed Kendry's.
That went to Drake. Drake got that one. All right.
Back jack off.
So here's a good one.
Back jack off.
So now apparently the Rams have
Thanks, buddy.
allowed Matthew Stafford's agent to see if they can work out a deal with somebody. And we were talking about this yesterday. You're a big Matthew Stafford guy. Where do you think Matthew Stafford ends up? Think he goes to the Raiders? You think he goes to the Browns? You think he goes to the Jets? You think he goes to the Giants? A lot of possibilities there.
I don't think he'll go to it.
Think he goes anywhere?
No, I really don't. I don't think
Why?
he'll go anywhere. I mean, I feel like some of this is posturing, and they're kind of calling his bluff. So they'll go out and get some numbers, and then
The word is McVay likes a quarterback in the draft that may be that not one of the guys that could go like in the top 5.
right.
And they have all this young talent on defense, and they want to reset, and they want to draft a quarterback.
And then go sign Aaron
And
Rodgers.
He likes Jimmy Garoppolo and Aaron Rodgers
Yeah, buddy.
as a 1-year stopgap,
Yeah, buddy.
and they want to move on, and they think the time. Now, listen to me.
I know.
That's not bad business.
no, it's smart.
If there's a quarterback that they can get their hands on in the draft that he likes, and he thinks that they can get him, and they also think they can move on from Stafford, and get some reasonable draft capital for him, and then bring in one of those guys as a 1-year guy and let whoever the rookie is sit.
I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers should be calling them today.
They have lots. They have rebuilt that team better and quicker than I thought they would.
Oh yeah.
And so I do think it's plausible, because now the whole, but that was like the buzz that, and but all that scenario makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Do you
That would
want
be
your
good
young
business.
quarterback being tutored by Aaron Rodgers?
Probably not, but he'd be tutored by
Ask
Sean
Jordan
McVay.
Love.
I don't know. I think
Jordan Love sat behind him.
when you have a coach like Sean McVay, and I like McVay a lot more.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know how you feel about him, but you see, I mean, look at his coaching tree.
Oh, he's
And
a very good
look at
coach.
the minds that have worked with him and some of the head coaches he's generated. And I think he's a stud as a coach. And I think when you got a guy like that's such an offense, you don't have to lean so much on.
Yeah.
And he's only going to be there 1 year. No, I wouldn't want Aaron
Wouldn't
Rodgers,
concern me
but I
one
wouldn't. I wouldn't be looking at him to mentor to Mike.
Right.
Just play. Go sleep in your tent at night.
Yes.
Hallucinate, play.
That's right.
Well, you don't have to be elite. We're good. We just need you to play.
I'm rooting for this to happen.
But he likes Garoppolo also. So
Yeah. I get it. I mean, I don't get the Garoppolo. I don't get that.
well,
But I get
Garoppolo's decent.
I get. Is he? I get the.
he likes him for his system.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
I'm not telling you I agree with you, but that's just what.
I mean,
That's some of the things that I've seen.
I don't know if the Jets have a stomach for another aging quarterback, but I mean the Jets.
What do they have the stomach
That's
for?
a great question. That's a great question.
They have no direction. They don't have a direction. So
They just hired a new coach, and you would think that they would be. I mean, I think
like Stafford though.
I do too. I think Pittsburgh would be a great fit for him.
If I'm the Browns, I think about it. You've got talent with but
And a coach. I don't think they have any money though. I think that's the problem with the Browns. They can't pay anybody.
why? They got their money tied up in some kind of terrible investment?
Yes, they do.
Oh.
Probably one of the worst investments in the history of the NFL. And their stud pass rushers asking out and probably will be traded.
To the freaking Eagles? Did you see that?
No,
Yeah, the Eagles think they got a shot at him.
I don't think so.
I mean, what is how do you view Stafford right now, this stage in his career?
How old is he? I'm guessing 35.
36, I think.
Yeah, 36.
I mean, I think he's still top, that second tier. I mean, he's not a top. I mean, I had him fringe top 5 going into last year.
Is he still top 10?
Yes, I still believe he's top 10. I believe he's top 10.
ESPN Cleveland, Albert Breer reported that the Browns would pursue Stafford in a trade if he's made available.
I mean, they get better as a team.
I think they're. I don't think what's his. It's not as bad as you think. The money he's owed, it's guaranteed or whatever.
Who, Stafford?
Yeah.
Well, I think he wants a new deal. I think that's why. I mean, I think he wants some more money.
What are they gonna do with Myles Garrett?
Probably get a couple first-round draft picks for him. I mean, I think that's his value. I think 2 first-round draft picks where you start with that guy.
If I'm the Browns, I'm trying to get.
I would not give up 2 first-round picks for him.
Somebody will. I mean, I don't know.
Somebody will,
I might.
probably.
I might.
For Myles Garrett,
I might.
So,
it depends on where I'm at.
Right.
Yeah.
If I'm
Where I'm
the-
at in my life, I think long and hard about it. If there's ever a
Who's-
guy,
who would who should be willing to do that? The Bills?
yeah.
Yes.
Myles Garrett.
Yes.
Jesus, I don't even want to think about that. Don't say that. Don't speak that. Don't talk about that.
I'm just trying to think of what teams. To me, you got to feel like you're a pass rusher away from winning the Super Bowl
Yeah.
to do that.
He's not, but he's not just a pass rusher.
He's the best
he's
defensive
the
player.
pass rusher.
He's the best defensive player in NFL.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
You know
very
what I
good.
mean? Look, okay. What did the
Cowboys
what-
should go do that.
What did the
Oh,
Chiefs give
God,
up? Okay,
no. I hope they do.
look it up exactly. What did the Chiefs give up for Frank Clark?
What was a first and a
Google.
Frank Clark trade.
That's all I'm asking you.
Multiple draft picks, including a first rounder. Let's see here. The NFL.com article. Remember, there was a first rounder involved.
Yes.
First and second. 2019
And a
first
swap
round
of
pick.
third round picks.
How old was he?
Well, that was.
Because let me tell you, Myles Garrett is probably older at this point.
Myles Garrett's 29.
He's 29.
He's better than Frank Clark.
I mean, bro, since he's coming to the league, he played 11 games his rookie year, right? And he had 7 sacks. And since then, 13 and a half, 10, 12, 16, 16, 14, 14. I mean, what? What's that worth?
Again, it depends on the team. You got to be, to me, you got to be a pass rusher. Like the Chiefs were that they needed somebody like Frank Clark and Honey Badger to have a chance to win the Super Bowl.
I mean, the Commanders should be going after that guy.
Ooh.
Yes.
I mean, the Commanders be like, hey, you can have our next 2 first-round draft picks.
I mean, he's been all pro 20, 21, 23, 24. He was Defensive Player of the Year in 23. Sporting News had him Defensive Player of the Year in 24 also.
Frank Clark's only 31 years old right now.
Yeah. So he was, what was that, 18? 6?
Yeah.
20.
Yep. I mean, they gave the 19
Right.
and 2020 pick.
He came to the Chiefs in 2019.
So it's different.
24, 25
The age
years
is
old.
different, but I mean,
26,
guys like Myles Garrett aren't available that often. I mean, he's a unicorn. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And so, like, who? But yeah, you're right. You can't. I mean,
Like the Cowboys,
now.
I think it'd be hilarious that the Cowboys
like,
traded for him.
don't ever say the Bills again. I just don't want to hear that.
Right.
Because that would scare that. You know, you talk about, like, oh my God, like who else? Washington, for sure.
I mean, Detroit maybe.
Well, if they had him and Hutchinson
Right.
healthy,
Right.
that would be, yeah, that would be, that'd be legit.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of like I just don't feel like the Ravens feel like they need.
I'd be
somebody
shocked
like
if the
that.
Browns straight into the Ravens.
Right.
Yeah, that ain't
Cleveland would
happening. Yeah.
set fire to the stadium.
That would be yes. That they're one of the no. They took your football team.
I do feel like
Now
it
they took
seems
your-
like most of the teams on the NFC side would be the teams most likely.
Yeah.
I like your Washington call.
That's a good shout.
I'd be all over him.
If I was the Packers, I'd
No,
be
but
calling
if
them.
I'm Buffalo, and you've lost to the Chiefs 4 of the last 5 years, and you're just like, like, what else can we do, Myles Garrett? Okay, what do you want? Okay, come on.
And yeah, especially teams like that will be drafting at the end of the
Yeah,
draft. I mean,
Because
that's-
they can talk themselves into anything. Because can
it's
you
gonna be
imagine?
2 first rounders?
You talk about what the Chiefs fans and the complaining and the anger and the disappointment of losing in the Super Bowl, right? Really wrap your head around having a Super Bowl quality team and losing to the same team in the playoffs 4 out of the last 5 years. That would drive someone crazy,
Yeah.
right? I mean, just think about that.
Just think about how much the Broncos drove us crazy, and it wasn't even at that level.
They beat the Chiefs in the playoffs once,
Yeah.
and that was enough.
Yeah.
It's happened over and over again, and they're looking at it like we're good enough. We just can't get past this team. What else can we do? Like what else can they do? They can't get better at quarterback. They can give them more weapons.
Yeah, they
I
got the
guess.
running game. They got the running game
Yeah.
going this year. They had a good pass game. They need to find a way to stop Patrick Mahomes.
If you watch, what do the Eagles do?
They got after Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah,
they dominated
so
the line
that,
of scrimmage.
I'll be honest with you, that has me concerned that
If
if there's
there's
a
a team
team
that
like-
should overpay,
yeah.
and do whatever it takes to get him, it should be the Bills.
I mean, what's
Yeah.
the formula to beat the Chiefs is out there. I mean, the Buccaneers, how'd they beat the Chiefs?
No.
Eagles, how'd they beat the Chiefs? So the Bills
Which is why
trade him to Washington.
Yeah. NFC, get him over there.
out of this conference.
Well, we're going to hear from Andy Reid and Brett Veach later on today. 11, Andy Reid, 11:15, Brett Veach from the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. So finally, I'm looking forward to that, aren't you? I mean, there's
we haven't heard
lot
from
of
him
things I
since-
need to hear about.
I love hearing from Veach, man. Veach will tell you. He'll tell you the truth. You know.
What do you think the demeanor for Andy will be? It depends on the
doggone it.
questions, but I feel like there's going to be,
I hope he doesn't get pummeled.
I think there's a slight chance he could get mad today. Probably not, but it's out there, with the right line of questioning.
Yeah. If he gets pummeled,
That's an interesting topic. Like, what question would you want him to be asked most?
Pummeled.
He's going to get asked about Kelsey, and he's like, I don't know. Huh. What do I want to hear? Exactly what would have had to happen on the field for you to go to DJ Humphries? Exactly how bad did it need to get? I don't know.
If I get pummeled, right? I want everybody to hear. If I
Look
get
at
pummeled
Mahomes.
on who's here and not here, we'll just do the one.
He was having a blast last night and his team lost, damn it. Back after this on WHB.